Hey, what's up, Muay Thai maniacs, and welcome back. Today's episode is actually a two-part episode featuring Ploy Sityodtong and Saekson Janjira. This was a little seminar that happened at our gym. We tend to do this quite a bit, and it's pretty cool because it gives people a chance to meet certain people that are, kind of big names in the Muay Thai community and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's something really cool to check out and whenever you have a chance, because sometimes legends are visiting and you may never ever have a chance to meet them in Thailand. So they sometimes go around touring the country and stuff. Anyways, we'll get started here. First up, we have Ploy Sityodtong, and she came all the way from Thailand to LA to come give us a seminar, and we are very appreciative of that. And she's actually the daughter of Sityodtong Senanan, the founder of Sityodtong in Pattaya. I believe Ploy started another branch of Sityodtong in Bangkok, Sityodtong MTM. So here's a picture of it so you can see the address or what it looks like. Before we get into the seminar, I just wanted to state like a few things about Ploy. One, she's super cool. She's definitely a sweetheart. I actually got to meet her my last trip to Thailand, and I went to the Sityodtong camp in Pattaya, and just her overall personality was really cool. Another cool thing about her is that she was basically raised in the Muay Thai camp. It's her whole life. That's all she knew. She's not a pro fighter or anything, but she has a lot of knowledge that was passed down to her. And she has a brother too, Krutoy. He's a really cool guy too. But one thing I do know about her too is that she is competitive. She does a lot of competitive bodybuilding, and she enters tournaments and stuff like that. And she's always posting pictures, I think, sometimes when I see her online, flexing and stuff. All right, so we'll get into the training seminar now. In this part, my teacher, Crew Walter, and Ploy are showing us students basically the proper way to kind of like balance yourself if you find yourself in the clinch. And yeah, you can see how like she looks like a praying mantis is kind of like how you're supposed to hold onto people's arms and stuff like that when you're locked up in a particular clinch. For the most part, Ploy was just, giving us some drills to do and some of the stuff that she's learned and just how to do, proper kicks, proper stance, because that's always important. I think almost for the majority of anybody that I've ever learned anything from Muay Thai, you gotta stress the basics first, no matter what. Because if you can't, I know people want to do all these crazy cool, spinning back elbows and jumping on top of somebody and elbowing them and the, like some Tony Jaa, Ong Bak stuff or whatever. But if you don't know the basics, then, it's really no point in trying to do all that stuff, because the basics, they are your bread and butter. They will save your life no matter what. For the most part, I didn't get everything because I wanted to take part in the class. But this last segment, this is Lynn holding the pads for Ploy. And I kind of feel for Lynn because she's about to have some fun with Ploy right now. And I think this is right here, they're just trying to show like proper holding the pads for a person, and sometimes you can gauge what the pad holder wants you to do or vice versa, but most of the time I think it's just the pad holder. But right now is just Ploy. I think pretty much Ploy is just kind of like I think freestyling. Well, that's it, for Ploy section. I wanted to record some more, but at the same time, I want to utilize, the things that she's teaching and get involved, be active with it. I don't want to just be, on the sidelines recording. Either way, Ploy, thank you. We really appreciate you coming down. We hope that you had a great experience here in America. And we would like you to come back whenever you get the chance. And as you know, you're always welcome. Thank you. Kapkun Mak. All right. Next up, we have Saekson Janjira. And Saekson, he's been around for quite a while. He's definitely made his mark in Thailand as well as the United States. Saekson's background, he's basically a champ from the late 80s and early 90s. He's definitely had like well over 200 fights. He's a 6-time world Muay Thai champion, and he's known for being the master of the neck kick, and you'll see why in a little while. From what I know, he's been training Muay Thai. He started when he was 8 years old, and he's from Pattaya, which is part of Chonburi. Seems like a lot of good fighters are coming out of that area. He currently teaches in Texas, but he's been definitely teaching for over 25 years in the United States. So he's got his own gym out there in Texas, Saekson Janjira Muay Thai. If you're out there, definitely you have access to a really great champion. So I would definitely utilize his skills. It'll definitely behoove you to just learn from this guy. Anyways, let's get started. Right here, Crew Walter is just introducing everybody to Saekson and letting them know, his history and basically kind of what I just covered. Saekson is just basically telling everybody, to use your wits when you're fighting and stuff. In this section, he's going over proper stance and how you should be a little bit more arched instead of like more straight, because if somebody kicks you in your kneecap, they just blow your kneecap out. So it's good to just be a little bit more arched. It just helps you better in fighting and overall balance your whole core, and just better protection and being fluid in your movements. In this portion, Saekson's talking about, distance while fighting. It'll be harder to kind of like, attack him. And if he's a little bit, how far your knee is out and your distance, it'll be harder to just attack him. Right here, Saekson's going over the clinch and knee work when you're close up on the body, and choking out my teacher. This move is basically just to show that it's really hard for your opponent, or just on the street in general, how hard it is to gain the upper hand once they're in that position where they're locked up like that and you're getting kneed. So Saekson right here is basically showing us how to apply this method of weaving through and going over the neck and reaching around to choke out your opponent and basically, control them, do whatever you want with them. It's really hard once you're in that position because you're kind of vulnerable. It's kind of hard for you to even like hit your opponent unless you have some kind of takedown. Right here, our buddy Sean Davis is about to get the chance to apply the technique onto Saekson, which I'm pretty sure he's happy to do now. Sean has actually been with us for about 6 months, and from what I know, he's had like 5 Muay Thai fights and 3 MMA fights from his history in martial arts thus far. And right here we have Johnny Ferris, who's also getting the opportunity to choke out Saekson. Johnny's one of our other MMA champs, and he looks like he's having fun. In this part, Saekson's talking about a really good way how to grip onto someone's leg once you catch it, and it's got to be locked like really tight in between the forearm and like behind your armpit, or very close into your armpit, not just with your hands. This helps you from losing a grip on the person, or their foot slipping out from you, which happens pretty often. In this case, I don't know if there's anything much you can do except hop around, or try to avoid from getting sweeped, which is probably going to be the next thing that happens. This part, Saekson is playing like a mental strategy where you psych out your opponent, making them look where they think you're going to kick, but you kick them opposite of where they think you're going to kick, which is pretty cool. In this part, Saekson is going to demonstrate how he is as a fighter, where he will attack his opponent and basically cause them to chase him, and he'll use their momentum to use all his weight to teep them or attack back. He won't stay or move forward. He'll just let them chase after they get hit by him. So it's kind of like, come and get me if you can, but then he sneaks in and does a teep or something. The student you see here that's training with Saekson right now is Mark Batista, and he's a pretty good fighter. He hasn't lost a fight yet, but he's definitely learning some new tricks from this older gentleman. Right here, Saekson is just walking through some scenarios that may happen, like when you're in a fight, and he just basically covers certain movements and how to be in a fight sometimes, where it's kind of like a chess game. The more you play, you kind of just feel your opponent out, and just see certain things and try to avoid them. And this just comes with like experience, and then you develop your own style and how you decide to play the game, because it's like a game. Alright, so this is the section where we get into his infamous neck kicking abilities. Dun dun dun! He's super fluid with this. He will basically, he's a big mind game player with his opponents. He makes the opponent look at the bottom of the floor. He'll start off basically like, doing like a jab, but with the kicking, and he makes the opponent look and makes them think that that's where he's going to continue to kick or try a low kick, and which eventually turns into a neck kick. So you'll see it starts out low, then high, and he's super fast with it, and that's the way you got to be to do what he's doing. Right here, he begins to talk about like how obvious and slow it is to just go straight for the neck kick, because your opponent, especially if they've been doing this for quite a while, can pick that up really quick. Well, that's all the footage I have for Saekson. It was definitely a pleasure having him down, and it wasn't the first time I saw him. He did another seminar with Samat Payakarun, which is another one of our favorite fighters at the gym, and I'm pretty sure it won't be the last time we'll see Saekson. So thank you, sir. Kapkun Mak, thank you for coming to our gym. We really appreciate all the knowledge you had to share, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.